Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? I hope you're having a good day. It's a day the Lord has made, and doesn't matter if it's raining, snowing, or sunshine. I mean, we still have to deal with today, and today is a very important day because it's the only time you have. It's not promised to us, and yesterday is in the past. So today is the day we have, and we can make it very important by doing something great for God. Okay, the lesson we're going to be talking about is dealing with the sin that God considers a grievous sin, and it's called the evil of gossip. And so when we're talking about others, we must be very careful what we're saying about them. I mean, there are eternal consequences to speaking bad about your brethren. So we need to be aware of this. And here's a story I picked up on the internet one time. Yet it's very profound in what it says. It says, Sister Suspicion went over to see Mrs. Critic the other day and said, Brother Bob has really been flirting with the women here lately. It would not surprise me if he had been stepping out on his wife. And as soon as their vain conversation was over, Mrs. Critic ran over to Sister Exaggerated. And during the course of their gossip, Mrs. Critic said, By the way, do you know that some people think that Brother Bob has been stepping out on his wife? And you don't mean to say, replied Sister Exaggerated. Well, that's what they tell me, Mrs. Critic said. Now, by the time Sister Exaggerated put the finishing touch on this scandal, Brother Bob had the reputation of stepping out on his wife, and Bob soon discovered that he had been doing things that he never did. So this is gossip. I mean, and you have to wonder, why do people gossip? Well, let's see what the dictionary says gossip is. It is a noun, a rumor or talk of a personal, sensational, or intimate nature. And a person who habitually spreads intimate or private rumors or facts. Either way, whether it's true or not, you shouldn't be spreading these things. And then it's also described as trivial, chatty talk or writing. So some of the synonyms are gossip, blab, and tattle. That's what it comes from. And the central meaning shared by these verbs is to engage in or communicate idle, indiscreet talk. And gossiping about the neighbor's domestic problems. Can't be trusted with a secret. He always blabs. This person is disliked by our classmates for tattling on the mischief makers. Just things like that. And so, when you get down to it, the purpose of gossip is to ruin someone's reputation. The purpose, and of course slander goes along with it. Gossip and slander, it's trying to make someone look bad so you might look a little better in the eyes of others. Or you're trying to get people to not like this person anymore, so you talk about this way. And of course, God is opposed to that. God is opposed to that type of language. And we're going to read a few scriptures in a little bit which deals with that subject. Now, sometimes they use the phrase idle words. And so an idle word is a word that does nothing. It neither ministers grace nor instruction to them who hear it. Not only does it signify vain and empty words, it also wicked and injurious, such as false testimony against a neighbor. So, like I say, it's very closely related to the word slander. Now, slander is described in the dictionary as a noun, oral communication of false statements injurious to a person's reputation. That's what the law considers slander to be. And then it can also mean a false and malicious statement or report about someone. And that comes from the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language. And yeah, the one for gossip, that was the same source. So what you're saying, slander is a falsehood or unproven rumor maliciously told for the purpose of injuring the influence or reputation of another. And you can see how gossip basically follows that same pattern. I mean, it follows that same route. I mean, it's whether it's true or not, it is maliciously told for the purpose of injuring the influence or reputation of another. And that's why God hates it so much. And when you think about it, slander is what you call a double sin. In other words, there's hatred in the heart because you have hatred for someone because you want to hurt them. I mean, if they were your friend and your buddy or your family, you wouldn't be spreading these things. But it's a hatred in the heart, and of course, it also turns out to be a lie on the tongue. Because chances are, whatever the truth is, someone has probably exaggerated it to make it seem a whole lot worse than it actually is. So why is there so much gossip? I mean, we're warned in scriptures not to be busybodies and not to just go around telling stories about others. But one of the reasons there is not so much gossip going on is because the preachers of our land have not been preaching on it. They just kind of assume, well, everybody knows gossip is wrong, so I'm not going to deal with that. We'll talk about something else. But what happens is the preacher may be afraid that he will become the subject of gossip and slander. I mean, maybe the preacher's wife or friends are guilty of this sin, and he does not want to chastise them publicly. And so those are a couple reasons. And so, I mean, when you think about it, slander and gossip is a rationalized form of self-righteousness. I mean, it's like someone say, well, I know I am not perfect, but I'm better than so-and-so for the following reasons. I mean, and you start listing the reasons. So what it comes down to is people seek to elevate themselves by putting others down. And so when you're really serious about it, gossips do not have the mentality for serious conversation. I mean, they just repeat and add to what they have heard. And so probably all of us like to hear ourselves talk. I mean, there's no question about it. A lot of us do. I know a lot of people like to hear themselves talk. But men tell dirty jokes, women gossip, and vice versa. I mean, one is as bad as the other. All are what Jesus considers idle words. And we'll address that in just a few moments. Now, here's some juicy gossip. And you listen to this. Someone reports, a preacher's reported to have been in a motel with another woman. Well, when the facts came out, this is a very well-known preacher, and it turns out the wife had lost a lot of weight and maybe even changed her hair color. And all of a sudden, the rumors start going, and before the preacher starts preaching, the elders say, hey, we've heard you were doing this and that. Yeah, the word gets around, and it's damaging. I mean, here's a man reported to be in a beer joint with some woman. And the preacher they were talking about was actually in another state at the time. So it was maybe someone who kind of looked like him, or someone wasn't that familiar with the preacher and just assumed something. And this is all harmful and stuff. And I can tell you something happened in Lindale, Texas many years ago. Apparently the same man showed up to church 2 times within a week and introduced a different wife each time. Well, that really happened. Well, actually, my dad with his family, we went to church on Wednesday night, and his twin brother, who looks an awful lot like my dad, he went with his 2 daughters and his wife. And we just thought about what they might have thought about that. And that gave us a chuckle for years, just thinking about, wonder what they were thinking. The same guy shows up with 2 different families. It can do that. So, now, a question we need to ask when it comes to gossip, what good does it do? See, the only time I need to report any actual evil of someone is when I'm seeking information as to how to help the person involved. And that's the way it should be. And really, it is best to go to the one involved and talk to them about whatever it is before talking to others about it. Yeah, sadly, a lot of us learn that after we've been guilty of doing it. So, folks, if you're going to start talking about brother so-and-so stepping out on his wife, the first person you need to talk to is brother so-and-so. So that's what you need to do. And tell him, then, of course, he'll find out, okay, someone's saying things about me. I need to find out who it is and fix it myself. So anyone who will gossip about me to you will gossip to you or someone else about me. I mean, I know that. And that's just the way they are. They got to find little juicy tidbits that they can throw out there. And so, do you know people that make you wonder what they are saying about you when you leave their presence? Yeah, I'm sure we all do. We know some people are just that way. Well, what are they saying about me? And so, now, when it comes to saying something about gossip, let's see what the Bible has to say. You know, God didn't hold back, and he didn't keep it very vague or anything like that. God laid it on the line and said, this is what it is. And so in Leviticus 19 and 16 says, you shall not go about as a slanderer among your people, because I am the Lord. Psalm 50 and verse 20 says, you sit and speak against your brother, you slander your own mother's son. And so Proverbs 11:13, he who goes about as a talebearer reveals secrets, but he who is trustworthy conceals a matter. All right, Proverbs 20:19, he who goes about as a slanderer reveals secrets, and therefore do not associate with a gossip. Now the King James Version says, he that goeth about as a talebearer revealeth secrets. Therefore, meddle not with him that flattereth with his lips. So, yeah, the language is just a slightly different between the King James and New American Standard, but it's there. See, Ezekiel 22 and verse 9 says, slanderous men have been in you for the purpose of shedding blood. And then Psalm 15, 1 through 3 says, O Lord, who may abide in thy tent? Who may dwell on thy holy hill? He who walks with integrity and works righteousness and speaks truth in his heart. He does not slander with his tongue, nor does evil to his neighbor, nor takes up a reproach against his friend. I mean, go read Psalm 15. I mean, very, very powerful lesson on who God is going to accept and who he's not going to accept. In Proverbs 16, verse 28, says, a perverse man spreads strife, and a slanderer separates intimate friends. You know, the King James says, a froward man soweth strife, and a whisperer separateth chief friends. Now in Proverbs 17:9, he who repeats a matter separates intimate friends. I mean, so pretty much saying the same thing. And Proverbs 18 and 8, the words of a whisperer are like dainty morsels, and they go down into the innermost parts of the body. Now, Proverbs 26, 20 through 22, says, for lack of wood the fire goes out, and where there is no whisperer, contention quiets down. Like charcoal to hot embers and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle strife. The words of a whisperer are like dainty morsels, and they go down into the innermost parts of the body. So that's very similar to Proverbs 18 and 8. And then, so in Proverbs 6, 16 through 19, passage we all are familiar with, says, there are 6 things which the Lord hates, yes, 7 which are an abomination to him. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that shed innocent blood, a heart that deviseth wicked plans, feet that run rapidly to evil, a false witness who utters lies, and one who spreads strife among brothers. I mean, 4 of those you can quickly associate with gossip. I mean, so these are things the Lord hates, and it's abomination. In the New Testament, James 4:11 says, "Do not speak against one another, brethren." In other words, you build each other up, you edify each other, but don't tear them down. And 1 Peter 2:1 says, "Therefore, putting aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisy and envy and all slander." I mean, you put away these things that belong to the world, and you long for the pure milk of the word, which can save your soul. And so, yeah, slander is included in that. So, folks, we should not be guilty of slander. We should not do that at all. All right, in 2 Corinthians 12, Paul's writing to the Corinthians, I'm afraid when I show up, I'm going to find you in a certain situation. He says in 12 and 20, "For I am afraid that perhaps when I come, I may find you to be not what I wish, and may be found by you to be not what you wish. That perhaps there may be strife, jealousy, angry tempers, disputes, slanderers, gossips, arrogance, disturbances." So that's what he says. This is what my fear is, because he knew them and he was worried about them. In Romans 1:29-31, talking about the wicked people of this world, but notice this. He says they're being filled with all unrighteousness, wickedness, greed, evil, full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, malice. They are gossips, slanderers, haters of God, insolent, arrogant, boastful, inventors of evil, disobedient to parents, without understanding, untrustworthy, unloving, unmerciful. So, folks, when you do slander and gossip, you are doing the things of the wicked world, and God doesn't like that. Now, before you repeat a story, you need to ask yourself some questions. Number one, is it true? I mean, this is the fairness test when you think about it. Now, the second question is, if it is true, will it do any good to tell it? I mean, so that's what you need to ask yourself. What is this going to accomplish? Is it going to help them look better, or is it going to make them look worse? And if I do tell it, will it help the person? Well, you might start thinking, well, maybe somewhere down the road, someone will have the courage to speak to this person about what they're doing. But in the meantime, we're just going to tell everybody else what this person is doing. No, so these are there. A very wise person and very well-known person made this quotation, and of course a lot of people have picked up on it and said the same thing. And it's very simple. If you can't say something good about a person, don't say anything at all. Now, I'm sure we've all heard that many times in our life, but we never really thought about it. See, we're going to be judged by our words and our deeds. And even Jesus said, Matthew 12:36 and 37, "I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every careless word they speak. For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned." That's why it's important. We need to see what we're saying about someone, and really the best thing to do is just not say anything at all, unless you're talking to that person. If you think they're doing something they shouldn't be doing, you owe it to them. You owe it to their soul salvation to confront them with it. Maybe you'll find out there's a different story, or the story you heard was just totally wrong. And so, I mean, you're going to find that's the case. Dealing with people is very emotional. It can cause hurt feelings and animosity, and people can harbor bad feelings for years to come, and we know that's true. So, folks, are you guilty of gossip? If so, you are guilty of a sin that God hates, and something that has hurt others. I mean, some people think, well, as long as I go to church, I can talk about... No, you can't talk about people like that. I mean, like I said, will it do any good to tell the story? And if I tell it, will it help this person? I mean, the only thing we should be doing as we look at the scriptures is to be commending our brethren and building them up. And of course, in Ephesians 4, he talks about let no filthy words or bad words proceed out of your mouth, but only words that are good for edification. I mean, if we can get to that point where all we speak are words that will lift and build people up, then we will be the type of speaker that God wants us to be. All right, so think about these things. If you're guilty of it, it's time to repent. Maybe ask the people you've talked about, maybe ask for their forgiveness. And if they're Christians, they probably will forgive you. So go ahead and do that. I mean, that's the right thing to do. And so don't take any chances with your soul either, because God does not like it. So that's the evil of gossip. It is a grievous evil that God hates, and if we do it, then we're wrong, and we're going to stand condemned because of it. That's what Jesus said. Think about these things, and share this message with others, if you will. And Lord willing, we'll be back again with another lesson. Bye-bye for now.